Hey YouTube, um, I'll try to keep this steady. I'm out on the trail, I'll call it the Beaver Dam. This is usually where me and my wife come out to ride till uh, when we do our rides together. It's 5.5 miles from the house. So I thought I'd touch at some early spring riding tips to keep your knees and your ankles and everything safe and going. I've been a lifelong cyclist, and at times I've blown out my knees because I didn't remember some simple rules that you should keep in mind when you're riding. One is faster, not harder. Now, some of you guys are going to go, what does that mean? It means spin your pedals faster and not harder. You want to keep your spin rate at about 80 RPMs or higher. And for that reason you're more efficient, and you pedal in. The faster you go, the more likely you are to pedal in circles. Oh, I gotta find some way to prop this up somehow. Maybe my gloves, so I don't have to sit here and worry about what my hand is doing. So 80 RPMs, and make sure your seat height is set right. You don't want, you would be, if you have bad knees, you want to overextend your leg a little bit. Otherwise, you don't want your knee bent all the time when you're riding. It's hard on the knees, and it's the foot is more. I mean, you'll be more efficient pedaling with it a little straighter. So if you're having knee problems, raise your seat a little higher until you get a little more comfort out of riding. And it won't be something that you notice in the first 5 miles. First 5 minutes. It might take a couple miles before you notice a difference. So seat height plays an important role in whether or not you're going to have problems with your knees. So keep that in mind. If your hands are going to sleep, your butt's going to get sore until you get used to riding. Don't matter how much money you spend on a seat. At some point in your ride, your butt's going to feel like it needs a rest. If your hands are going to sleep, that means you're putting too much weight on your hands, and you need to adjust your riding position. So it might mean sliding your seat forward or back, or your handlebars. Now on the Lectric XP, you're kind of limited on hand positions by the fact that you can't extend the handlebars out any farther. Now, there may be a solution to that, but it's not going to be an inexpensive one. It's going to cost you some money to resolve that. You want a stiff-soled shoe. If you can get one to ride, if you can afford it, buy a bicycle shoe. A good stiff old bike shoe will do you a lot of, keep you from having foot problems, and it'll keep you from breaking down your arch, because you have a stiff sole on it. You transfer power to the pedals better. It's all around better for you. They're not comfortable to walk in, but they're not real bad. So I guess I'll call this my 800 mile review. I actually have 822 miles on the bike. I covered it basically, but at this point I can tell I'm better equipped to tell you about longevity of the bike and what I think you may have problems with. There's been few people that have had problems with their bikes as soon as they got them. Controller issues, speedometer issues, the speedometer not working properly. There's a lot of things out there that can be wrong, but Lectric's been overall really good at taking care of people. Unfortunately, you're going to have to be a little mechanically inclined or take it to a bike shop they'll send you the parts, but they ain't going to send you a repairman. It's just the way it is. I actually contacted them and asked them if they wanted a rep in this area to maybe go out and help people along in fixing their bikes, but they weren't interested. They said that this time they weren't interested in developing any kind of program like that. Maybe they didn't think I had the skills to do it, but that's neither. I don't really care. At this point, it was just helping hand. I used to have a company where I went out and fixed gym equipment here in Michigan. I made a stupid mistake of signing a contract with Sears, and they thought I should have been available 24 hours a day to repair stuff, and I was still working full-time at the time, plus doing that. So I ended up just saying, nah, enough is enough. I ain't going to do that. So I haven't seen anything on the bike that's concerned me really as far as wear items. The brakes seem to be holding up, but Tektros have been around a long time. They understand pad wear and everything, so I still have a brake caliper that's not exactly true, but like I said, if I wanted to spend hours and hours trying to get it right, I probably could. They make tools to do it. If you're going to mess with it, I would suggest buying the tools. But I'm not going to mess with it. The bike stays dirty. It gets big tires throw up a lot of dirt. The front tire's probably got another couple thousand miles on it, and the back tire, I might get through a season on it, but I'm not going to bet on it. But I'm thinking I probably have another couple 100 miles at least in it. I found the Speedster tires, but they were in brown. I don't remember. It was on V's website. I found the V Knobby ones, the Command series, but it had a white wall. And the only black tire, I found a black tire too, but it wasn't. It was a Command tire too. So they're out there. You're just going to have to look. I don't even remember the website name, but it was v.com, vtire.com. And then it was a / I think, specialty tire. And the black one I had a French flag on it. So I'm assuming they were special made tires that some manufacturer ended up not taking. I haven't got any rattles. Fender rattles once in a while. And that's about it. I've got a few chips on the bike. As you guys know, I told you I ran into a post, not paying attention. That's usually what gets you is when you're not paying attention. Haven't had any more problems out of the latch. There's people out there that are still having issues. Between the video I did and what Lectric will send you, you should be able to figure it out. No latch problems on the front. And the battery has been holding up well. I had a comment the other day asking me about doing it's a throttle only test. Well, here's my problem is I have carpal tunnel in my right hand, which is where the throttle is, and I know there's different throttles I could put out there. Boy, those mosquitoes are gnats. Look like gnats. They're following me. Anyway, I can't do it. Maybe there is a couple videos out there of a guy, a skinny guy that did it, but he did it, and I think he got 20 miles on throttle only, and he rode it until the battery absolutely died, and then he pedaled the rest of the way home. So 20 miles on throttle only, and there's it might have been a little longer, but I don't remember exactly. So if you're planning on doing a 15-mile ride throttle only, I'd say you'd be okay on varied terrain. So that's a thought. Like I said, I'm just not equipped to do it. I could do it on cruise, but when I do it, I usually do it for exercise and not to see what it'll do. Um, yeah, the mosquitoes are out already. It's about 50 degrees out here, so and it has been cold. We've had some cold nights. So, uh, other than that, the lights still work, the fenders still work. I haven't had any problems with the shifting since I initially adjusted it. It's really smooth. My drivetrain is fairly clean. I mean, there is some dirt on it. The bike needs to be cleaned, but I'm not going to do it until the weather warms up and I can get out there and spray things off. That and it being warm enough for it to dry out. Seat is torn and looking like it needs to be fixed again, but I ain't gonna mess with it. So I haven't had any problems with the shifters. No real issues with the brakes. No issues with the gear, gearing, uh, gearing or electric motor or battery. Uh, there is a company called FTH Power that rebuilds lithium bike batteries. That's their main job. There, it's out of California. Go ahead and look up their website. We had somebody that on a comment said they broke the battery taking it out. That thing slides out of there like grease lightning. So if you're gonna do it, I would suggest doing it with the bike upside down. And it's going to require you to find some way to set the bike on the handlebars without damaging your gear up there. So fthpower.com. They'll rebuild batteries. They have some that are pre-built. I don't think they have one for electric, but they will rebuild your battery and actually increase capacity if you want it. So you send them a battery along with a prepayment for it, and I think it's a 6-week turnaround, and they rebuild your battery. Unfortunately, it's about the same price as buying a new one. But if you want to expand your capacity a little bit, I'm not sure, but I think you might be able to get as much as right now they have probably 2.6 amp hour batteries in there, and I think you can go up to they may have access to 4. So you could actually almost double your capacity up to, I think they can get to 21 amp hours out of that battery pack. Don't quote me, but you could probably at least get 16. So you can expand your range a little bit. I don't have any creaks or any noises. That was all solved with a little bit of white lithium grease. And the reason you use white lithium is if it gets on your clothes, it doesn't stain. I mean, you might have an oil stain, but you're not going to have a big dark grease stain. Spokes, the wheels are as true as they need to be for a non rim brake. So they don't have to be perfect. If you've had feel a thump or something, then it's probably going to need to be a tight. The spokes, the wheel's going to have to be trued. But so far, I haven't had any problems with the bike. Really, I haven't had any issues. When I got it, I was thinking, man, this thing is just barely better than Huffy quality. But I have not had any real issues out of it that I didn't induce myself, like bending the crank arm. That's the first time I've ever bent a crank arm. I've had some horrific accidents and never bent a crank arm. So that might attest to some of the quality problems that China has with their. It must not have been a cold forged aluminum crank arm. It must have been hot forged, and then you lose some strength. So I got 15 minutes on the video. I'll post this when I get home. You have any questions? Just submit a comment, like my video if you do. If you don't, that's fine too. Uh, have a great day.